SummerSlam 2024, WWE's second biggest show of the year, is just under 1 week away, taking place on August 3rd in Cleveland, Ohio. The go-home episode of Monday Night Raw has just wrapped up before the event, so on today's video we're going to go through all 7 confirmed matches for the card, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the build-up to the match as well as exactly what I think will happen on the show. Let's start off with the SmackDown side of things by talking about the Women's Championship match, that of course being the Queen of the Ring winner Nia Jax taking on the Women's Champion Bayley. Now I think that out of all of the matches on the SummerSlam card, this is probably one of the two, we'll get to the other one in just a second, one of the 2 matches that I'm probably the least excited for. It has perfect justification for happening. Of course, Nia Jax won the Queen of the Ring tournament and she's challenging Bayley for the Women's Championship. Great. Perfect justification there. But as for the story, there isn't really a very engaging story that makes me want to care about this match, I have to say. And I think it's mostly because we've seen everything we can really from Bayley's championship reign. And it's really just an inevitable conclusion that Nia Jax will win. And in case it hasn't been made obvious, that is my prediction. I believe that Nia Jax will win this match and will walk out of SummerSlam with the Women's Championship. But of course, we do have something we should talk about. That is, of course, Tiffany Stratton. Will she cash in at SummerSlam on the winner of the match? And I think, no, I don't think she will. I think because we have just had the Money in the Bank briefcase be destroyed by Bayley, we are probably going to have Tiffany Stratton unveil a pretty pink briefcase on this upcoming episode of SmackDown this Friday. So I don't really think that they would create a new women's briefcase, a new looking women's briefcase, just to have her cash it in the day after. I think Tiffany Stratton is going to hold on to the women's Money in the Bank contract for quite some time, probably cashing in on Nia Jax. But that's not going to be at SummerSlam. I think Nia Jax will win and will walk out of SummerSlam with the Women's Championship and will hold on to it for quite a while. Now, sticking with the SmackDown side of things, now let's talk about LA Knight taking on United States Champion Logan Paul. Now, out of all of the SmackDown side of things, I think that this has probably the least predictable outcome, I would say. It could really go either way. Logan Paul could retain or LA Knight could win, and it would really be justified either way, I think. But with that being said, I do think that I'm going to go with LA Knight. I think that today is finally LA Knight's moment. We've been saying he needs to win a singles title for quite some time now. And this Sunday at SummerSlam, it will be the time. Mostly, I'm going to go with LA Knight because of how little Logan Paul has been showing up on WWE TV recently. I think his time as US champion is probably coming to an end. And if not at SummerSlam, it's going to be soon, and it's probably going to be to LA Knight. But either way, my prediction is LA Knight will win, will leave SummerSlam as the United States champion. Now, wrapping up the SmackDown side of things, we have Cody Rhodes taking on Solo Sikoa for the Undisputed Universal Championship. Now, if it wasn't made obvious, this is the other match, along with Bayley versus Nia Jax, that I am the least excited for on the card, because there hasn't really been a very good build-up between the two of them. We have had a fantastic build-up between the teams of Cody, Kevin, and Randy versus the Bloodline. But this match on its own hasn't really been built up very good to make me really care about it. But with that being said, I do think there is only one inevitable conclusion. That is, of course, that Cody Rhodes will get the win and will retain the Undisputed Universal Championship. And I don't think it's going to be in a particularly clean fashion. I think that Solo Sikoa will have assistance from his bootleg bloodline. Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa will help him to try and get the win, which will then cause returning Roman Reigns to come down, take all of them out, and help Cody Rhodes retain the championship. This is, of course, because I think we are building towards the inevitable clash between the original bloodline, Roman Reigns, Usos, maybe Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens in there, taking on the new bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, maybe at War Games. So I think that having Roman Reigns return and essentially cost Solo Sikoa the Universal Championship would do a great job in setting up that match later on down the line. Now, heading over to the Raw side of things, which I think have been built up in a much better way. The Raw side of the card is much more solid than the SmackDown side of the card. Our first match on the Raw side of things is the World Heavyweight Championship match between Damian Priest and King of the Ring winner Gunther. Now, when this match was first, made official, I suppose, at King of the Ring when Gunther won the tournament, I wasn't particularly excited. I was a bit, skeptical about the match. I thought there was many other choices for who could be the World Heavyweight Champion going into SummerSlam. For example, I expected Seth to win at Money in the Bank because I thought that Seth versus Gunther was a bigger match than Damian Priest versus Gunther. But in the last 2 weeks alone, and including what happened on today's episode of Raw, they have done an absolutely fantastic job in building up not only Damian Priest, but also this match as a whole to make me care and also believe that Damian Priest actually has a chance to win. To the point where if he does win, I wouldn't even be mad. I honestly thought that this was just an inevitable Gunther victory, that anything that Damian Priest did in these last few weeks was meaningless because we were just waiting for Gunther to inevitably win. But whether it was that fantastic face-off promo 2 weeks ago that they did on Monday Night Raw, or those 2 brawls that they did to kick off the show, I now believe that Damian Priest could win. And in case it hasn't been made obvious, my prediction is that Damian Priest will get the win and will walk out of SummerSlam still the World Heavyweight Champion. Next, let's talk about the Women's World Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Now, I've got to say, this is probably up there with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, which we will talk about in a second. It's probably up there with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with being my favorite thing going on in WWE right now. This, I guess you could call it a love triangle storyline between Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dominic Mysterio has been absolutely phenomenally done over the last few weeks. Ever since Liv Morgan injured Rhea Ripley and has been trying to take everything from her, whether that be the Women's Championship or Dominic Mysterio himself, that has been absolutely really well done and has made me very excited for the conclusion of this story and this match at SummerSlam. Now, I think that there will be a moment in the match where Dominic Mysterio is forced to choose between Liv or Rhea. Maybe we see that through a referee knockdown, and then he comes down to the ring and has the opportunity to hand one of them the championship belt to have the ability to use against the other as the referee is knocked down. Something like that, I think, could be pretty cool. But I think inevitably Dominic Mysterio is going to side with Rhea Ripley. But I don't think that's going to be it. I think that something is telling me, I think we're going to see an inclusion from Finn Balor. I think that Finn Balor, after Dominic Mysterio has chosen to side with Rhea Ripley, is also going to come down. And I think that he's going to side with Liv Morgan. I think that this will be Finn Balor's exit from the Judgment Day. He's going to side with Liv Morgan, and he's going to help Liv Morgan win. And we're going to see an on-screen partnership between the two, which is also going to help build to a Damian Priest versus Finn Balor World Heavyweight Championship match later down the line. So my official prediction for the Women's Championship match is that Liv Morgan will retain the Women's World Championship. Next, let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship match. Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker. Now this is going to be very quick because I haven't really been a fan of this. I said before there's only 2 matches that I'm not very excited for. There is actually 3. This is probably the 3rd match that I'm not very excited for, just because I think it's a little bit pointless. I think that if Bron Breakker won at Money in the Bank, then, which he should have, I don't think that this match would have been very necessary. Because I think there is only one way that this is going to go. I'm pretty sure that Bron Breakker will win and will become the new Intercontinental Champion. So yes, Bron Breakker is my prediction for the match. This will be the end of Sami Zayn's Intercontinental Championship reign. Next we have probably what I would have to say is the most anticipated match on the SummerSlam card, well for me at least. That of course being CM Punk taking on Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins as the special guest referee. Now I've absolutely loved the build up to this match, and it's pretty much been going since the Royal Rumble in January. And every single one of these two guys' interactions on Raw over the last few weeks has been amazing, and has built this match into a blood feud that doesn't have a title involved, which I don't think we've seen in quite a while in the WWE, which is really, really good. This is such a blood feud. This is such an amazing top tier main event feud that I think it could be the main event. I think this should close the show of SummerSlam because it has more of a story than the Undisputed Championship match over on SmackDown. Based off of what happened on today's episode of Raw, where Seth Rollins said that he will do pretty much whatever he wants as the referee in the match. He'll make counts when he wants. He'll do disqualification when he wants. He'll make people submit when he wants to. I think that I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. And I think based off of what happened at Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins is going to get revenge on CM Punk for costing him the chance to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship again by helping Drew McIntyre win and screwing CM Punk out of the win at SummerSlam. That is the end for my SummerSlam predictions. Stay tuned for a SummerSlam review coming shortly after the PLE.